Gentlemen, there's something every husband needs to hear, not just once, but over and over again. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers, but you do have to be present. You have to show up, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Your wife isn't asking for a flawless man. She's asking for a man who's willing to stand beside her even when he doesn't know what to say or do. She's asking for a man who's willing to try. Somewhere along the way, many of us were taught that being a husband means being tough, being the rock, being the fixer. But the truth is, your vulnerability is not a weakness. It's your greatest strength. When you open up, when you let her see the parts of you that you've been taught to hide, that's when real intimacy happens. That's when trust is built. She doesn't need a superhero. She needs a human. She needs you. You are not expected to be perfect, but you are expected to be present. That simple truth can change everything in a marriage. So many men carry this invisible burden of perfection, this belief that to be a good husband, they have to have all the answers, all the solutions, all the strength, all the time. But the truth is, no one is asking for perfection. What your wife, your partner, your family truly need from you is presence. They don't need a flawless man. They need a man who shows up every single day, even when it's hard. Because presence is more powerful than perfection ever could be. Perfection builds walls. Presence builds bridges. Perfection says, I have to do this right or not at all. Presence says, I'm willing to try even if I don't have it all figured out. And that willingness, that commitment to show up, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, is what creates real connection, real intimacy, real love. You see, we live in a world that often tells men they need to be strong, stoic, unshakable. But strength isn't the absence of struggle. Real strength is staying in the room when the conversation gets uncomfortable. Real strength is holding space for emotions, even the ones you don't understand. Real strength is admitting, I don't know how to fix this, but I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. And the truth is, your wife doesn't want you to be perfect. She doesn't expect you to solve everything, to carry every burden, to never make mistakes. What she wants is to know that she can count on you to be present with her, especially when life gets messy. She wants to know that you're willing to sit with her in the hard moments, to listen, to care, to stand beside her, not above her. She wants a partner, not a savior. There's a kind of courage and presence that perfection will never give you. Perfection makes you afraid to fail. Presence gives you permission to be human. And in that humanity, in those imperfect, authentic moments, you build trust, you build safety, you build love that lasts. Because it's not built on an illusion of who you think you're supposed to be. It's built on the truth of who you really are. Presence looks like being willing to have the hard conversations, even when they're uncomfortable. It looks like choosing to listen, even when you're tired. It looks like turning toward your wife when stress, work, and distractions tempt you to turn away. It looks like remembering that the little moments matter, the good morning kiss, the text in the middle of the day, the hug that says, I see you, without a single word. You don't need to get everything right. You don't need to fix every problem. But you do need to be here, to show up not just when things are fun and easy, but when they're difficult, boring, or painful. Because love isn't proven in perfection. Love is proven in presence. It's proven in the choice to stand by each other, to face life together, even when you're scared, even when you're unsure, even when you're tired. And here's what's beautiful. When you give yourself permission to stop chasing perfection, you also give your wife permission to stop chasing it too. When you show up as your imperfect, honest, vulnerable self, you create a space where she can do the same. And in that space, you grow together, you learn together, you build something stronger than perfection could ever offer. Something real, something lasting. So no, you're not expected to be perfect. You're not expected to have every answer, fix every problem, or carry every weight, but you are expected to be present, to choose her, to choose the relationship, to choose love, not just when it's easy, but every single day. And in that choice, in that presence, you give the greatest gift you could ever give. Yourself. Fully, honestly, bravely, beautifully human. Your vulnerability is your greatest strength. I know that's not what the world usually tells you. From a young age, many men are taught to be tough, to keep their emotions in check, to hide their fears, to always appear in control. Somewhere along the way, you may have been told that showing emotion is a sign of weakness, that being open makes you soft, that asking for help makes you less of a man. But none of that is true. In fact, it's the opposite. There is nothing weak about allowing yourself to be seen. There is nothing soft about being honest about your struggles. There is nothing small about admitting that you don't have all the answers. Vulnerability is not about falling apart. It's about having the courage to be real. It's about saying, this is who I am, this is what I feel, this is what I hope for, and this is what I fear. And that kind of openness takes far more strength than pretending you've got it all together. Because when you hide behind a mask, when you keep everything bottled up, you might protect yourself from pain in the short term, but you also build walls between yourself and the people who love you. You keep them at a distance. You rob them of the chance to truly know you, to truly connect with you. And deep down, isn't that what we're all searching for? To be known, to be loved, to be accepted as we are. Your wife doesn't want the perfect, untouchable version of you. She wants the real you. She wants the man who's willing to say, I'm scared, or I don't know what to do, or I need you right now. She wants the man who's strong enough to cry, strong enough to apologize, strong enough to admit when he's wrong, because in that vulnerability, there is trust. In that vulnerability, there is intimacy. In that vulnerability, love has a place to grow. You see, vulnerability isn't about oversharing or being dramatic. It's not about dumping every emotion at every moment. It's about being honest. It's about showing up with your heart open, even when you're afraid. It's about choosing to let someone in, even when it would be easier to shut down or walk away. And that choice, that's bravery. That's strength. It's easy to be guarded. It's easy to stay silent. It's easy to say, I'm fine, when you're really not. But it takes real courage to say, I'm struggling. It takes real courage to let your wife see the parts of you that feel broken or unfinished or messy. And the truth is, she doesn't expect you to be flawless. She doesn't expect you to never hurt or never doubt. She just wants to know that when you're hurting, you'll turn toward her, not away from her. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you're not just opening up for your own sake. You're also giving permission to the people around you to do the same. You're saying it's okay to be human here. It's okay to feel. It's okay to be imperfect. And in that shared humanity, relationships deepen, trust strengthens, love becomes something richer, more resilient, more meaningful. So if you've been carrying the weight of trying to be unshakable, trying to be the rock all the time, let me remind you, strength doesn't mean never bending. Strength doesn't mean never falling. Strength means getting back up. Strength means allowing yourself to be held when you can't hold everything alone. Strength means being willing to say, I need help. And knowing that doesn't make you less, it makes you wise. Your vulnerability is your greatest strength because it makes you real. It makes you relatable, it makes you trustworthy, it makes you human. And in a world full of masks and facades, being human is the bravest thing you can be. Don't be afraid to let the people who love you see the parts of you you've been taught to hide, because it's in those very places, those honest, tender, vulnerable places, that love takes root and grows into something unbreakable. Love isn't a feeling to chase. It's a commitment to practice. We've been told so many stories about love, stories from movies, songs, books, that make it look like something magical that just happens to you, like a spark that either shows up or doesn't, like a feeling that sweeps you off your feet and carries you effortlessly toward happiness. But the truth is, real love is not a fairy tale. It's not something you fall into and hope lasts. It's something you build. It's something you show up for day after day, whether you feel the butterflies or not, because feelings come and go. Emotions rise and fall. There will be days when love feels easy, and there will be days when love feels like work. There will be days when looking at your partner fills you with joy, and days when you feel distant, frustrated, or even hurt. But love isn't about chasing the high of the good days. Love is about staying in the room on the hard days. Love is about choosing the relationship, even when it's messy, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's uncomfortable. Love is a decision to keep showing up, to keep being kind, to keep giving grace. It's in the small, ordinary moments, the way you greet each other after a long day, the way you listen without interrupting. Love isn't proven in grand gestures. It's proven in the quiet, consistent ways you care for each other, especially when no one is watching. When we believe that love is just a feeling, we start to doubt it the moment those feelings fade. We start to wonder, do I still love them? Do they still love me? But love isn't measured by how intensely you feel in any given moment. Love is measured by what you're willing to give, even when it costs you something. Love is measured by how you treat each other when the feelings aren't easy. And the beautiful thing is, when you commit to practicing love, the feelings often follow. The more you lean in, the more you nurture the relationship, the more the warmth and connection grow. But if you wait for the feeling before you act, you'll miss the chance to build something deeper. Love doesn't thrive on spontaneity alone, it thrives on intention. Love is choosing to forgive even when you'd rather hold a grudge. Love is choosing to communicate even when silence feels safer. Love is choosing to see the best in your partner even when disappointment clouds your view. Love is choosing to stay curious about each other, to keep learning, to keep growing together. And love isn't passive. Love doesn't just happen to you. It's something you have to fight for. It's something you have to protect. It's something you have to prioritize even when life pulls you in 1,000 different directions. It's easy to let work, stress, responsibilities, and distractions chip away at the connection. But love is built in those moments when you say, I see you, I choose you, I'm here with you, no matter what. It's not about waiting for romance to show up at your door. It's about creating it through thoughtfulness, through patience, through effort. It's about remembering that love isn't something you find once and then it's done. Love is something you keep finding over and over again in the way you care, the way you show up, the way you keep choosing each other day after day. So if you've ever wondered whether love is still alive in your marriage, don't look for the rush of emotion. Look at the choices you're making. Look at the ways you're showing up. Look at the quiet moments of grace and kindness. That's where love lives. Not in the highs, but in the steady, intentional commitment to keep loving no matter what. Love isn't a feeling to chase, it's a commitment to practice. And when you practice it well, when you commit to it fully, it grows into something deeper, richer, and more lasting than any feeling could ever promise. Listening is more powerful than fixing. It's a simple truth, but one that's so easy to forget, especially for men who've been raised to believe that their value comes from solving problems, from having the answers, from stepping in and making things better. But here's the reality. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give the person you love is not a solution, it's your presence. It's your willingness to hear them, to truly listen without rushing in to make it all go away. We live in a world that moves fast. We're encouraged to be efficient, to check things off the list, to get from problem to solution as quickly as possible. But relationships don't work that way. Emotions don't work that way. Love doesn't work that way. When your wife comes to you with something she's feeling, whether it's frustration, sadness, anxiety, disappointment, she's not always asking for you to fix it. She's asking for you to understand it. She's asking for you to hold space for it. She's asking for you to simply be there, to see her, to hear her, to let her know she's not alone in it. And that's hard because everything in you wants to help. Everything in you wants to jump to the answer, to offer advice, to tell her what she should do. But sometimes, in trying to fix it, you accidentally miss the point. You skip over her feelings. You unintentionally send the message, let's move past this, instead of I'm here with you in this. And the truth is, most of the time, she already knows what she needs to do. She's not coming to you because she doesn't have a solution. She's coming to you because she needs connection. She needs someone who will sit with her in the struggle, not stand outside it, pointing to the exit. Listening takes patience. It takes humility. It takes the willingness to set aside your own discomfort with her pain and instead enter into it with her. To say, tell me more. To say, that sounds really hard. To say, I'm so sorry you're going through this, not to minimize, not to dismiss, not to hurry her along, but to honor what she's feeling, to validate it, to let it be heard. And here's the beautiful thing. When you truly listen, when you create that safe space for her emotions, you give her a place to lay down her burdens. You make it easier for her to breathe. You help her feel less alone. And in doing so, you strengthen the trust between you. You deepen the bond. You show her that you're not just there for the good times, but also for the hard ones. Listening is powerful because it communicates, I care more about you than I care about fixing this. It says, your feelings matter to me. It says, you are safe here. And sometimes just being heard is enough to begin healing. Sometimes the act of speaking it out loud, of sharing the burden, lightens it in ways no solution ever could. So the next time she opens up to you, resist the urge to fix, resist the temptation to jump ahead. Just slow down, listen, ask questions that invite her to share more, not shut down. Let her know that you're fully present, not just waiting for your turn to speak or for the problem to be solved, because at the end of the day, what we all want most is to be known, to be understood, to be loved, not for what we've accomplished or figured out, but for who we are, even in our struggles. Listening gives that gift. Listening is love in action. Listening is more powerful than fixing because fixing changes the situation. But listening changes the relationship. And when you choose to listen well, You're building something stronger than any quick solution ever could. You're building trust, safety, connection, and love that lasts. Your presence at home is more valuable than your success at work. That's not something the world will tell you often. The world praises achievement. It celebrates titles, promotions, awards, wealth. It tells you that your worth is tied to how hard you work, how much you earn, how far you climb. But at the end of the day, none of those accomplishments can replace the moments you missed at home. None of them can substitute for the connection, the love, the trust that's built when you simply show up fully present for the people who matter most. Work will always ask for more. There will always be another deadline, another meeting, another opportunity to get ahead. But your family, they won't always be waiting. Your kids won't always be small. Your marriage won't always be in the same season. There are conversations happening right now, stories being shared, milestones being reached, and if you're not there, you can't get that time back. I'm not saying work doesn't matter. Providing for your family is honorable. Building something meaningful with your career is a beautiful thing, but the danger is when success at work becomes the only measure of success in your life. When climbing the ladder becomes more important than sitting at the dinner table, when your laptop gets more attention than your spouse's eyes, when your phone lights up with emails and notifications and you forget the faces right in front of you, what your wife needs, what your kids need, what your home needs is you. Not the perfect you, not the polished professional you, just you, your attention, your affection, your presence. Because presence communicates something no paycheck ever could. You matter to me. This moment matters to me. I'm choosing you right now. It's easy to tell ourselves, I'm doing this for them, I'm working hard so they can have a better life. And yes, part of that is true, but sometimes the better life they want isn't a bigger house or nicer things. It's a husband who's emotionally available, a dad who's not too tired to play, a partner who's willing to put down his phone and truly listen. When you're present at home, you're giving something irreplaceable. You're giving your love, your wisdom, your protection, your guidance. You're giving memories that will outlast any project, any business deal, any achievement. Years from now, your kids won't remember how many hours you worked. They'll remember whether you showed up for the game, the recital, the tough conversation. Your wife won't remember how many emails you sent. She'll remember if you were willing to sit with her, listen to her, hold her in the quiet moments. Presence builds connection. Presence builds trust. Presence builds a legacy that no success at work can ever replicate. Because what's the point of reaching the top if you're standing there alone? What's the point of gaining the world if you lose the relationships that give your life meaning? I'm not telling you to stop working hard. I'm telling you to work hard at home too. To give your best, not just to the office, but to your family. To be as intentional with your time at home as you are with your schedule at work. To prioritize the conversations, the laughter, the shared meals, the little moments that make a family strong. Because one day, the career will slow down, the titles won't matter, the achievements will gather dust on a shelf. But the love you've nurtured at home, that will last. The memories you've created, they'll be the stories your family tells long after the meetings and deadlines are forgotten. Your presence at home is more valuable than your success at work. Don't trade the moments that matter for things that won't. Don't miss what's happening right in front of you because you're chasing something out there. Success is beautiful, but love is what makes it all worthwhile. And love is built not by what you achieve, but by how you show up again and again for the people who need you most. You're not in competition with your spouse, you're on the same team. And yet so many couples fall into the trap of keeping score. Who's doing more, who's sacrificing more, who's right more often, who's winning the argument. Still at first, but over time, it can turn a relationship into a battlefield where every conversation feels like a contest and every disagreement feels like a fight that needs to be won. But marriage isn't about winning over each other, it's about winning with each other. It's about realizing that every challenge, every conflict, every decision, you face them together as partners, not opponents. When you forget you're on the same team, small disagreements turn into power struggles. You start to defend your position instead of seeking understanding. You focus on proving a point instead of solving the problem. And little by little, the distance grows. Instead of moving closer, you drift apart, trapped in a cycle of me versus you instead of us versus the problem. But when you remember that you're not competing, you approach challenges differently. You stop asking, how do I win? And you start asking, how do we win? You stop keeping score and start keeping each other supported. Your spouse isn't your rival, they're your partner. Their success is your success. Their happiness is your happiness. Their struggle is your struggle. And when one of you stumbles, it's not a moment to say, I told you so. It's a moment to say, I've got you. Let's get through this together. Because that's what teammates do. They cover each other, they lift each other, they celebrate together, and they grieve together. It's easy to fall into comparison, especially when life feels busy or stressful. Maybe you think, I'm working harder, I'm sacrificing more, I'm carrying more of the load. But if you both start believing you're doing more than the other, resentment begins to take root. Instead of gratitude, you feel bitterness. Instead of partnership, you feel isolation. That's why it's so important to shift the mindset from competition to collaboration. Marriage isn't 50-50. It's not about splitting everything evenly every day. Some days it's 80-20. Some days it's 10-90. Some days one of you has more to give and the other needs more grace. And that's okay. That's what being on the same team means. You carry each other when one of you is tired. You give more when the other has less. You balance each other not by counting, but by caring. Being on the same team means fighting for the relationship, not fighting each other. It means asking, what's best for us, not how do I get my way. It means listening even when you disagree. It means compromising even when it's uncomfortable. It means choosing unity over pride, peace over ego, love over being right. When you stop competing, you start collaborating. You start dreaming together. You start problem solving together. You start building a future together, brick by brick, conversation by conversation, choice by choice. And instead of draining energy trying to win against each other, you channel that energy into winning as a couple. Because at the end of the day, no one outside your marriage benefits from your division. No one wins when you're pitted against each other. But everyone wins when you fight side by side. Your marriage wins, your family wins, your kids win, your legacy wins. You're not in competition with your spouse. You never were. You're not supposed to keep score. You're supposed to keep showing up. You're not supposed to prove who's right. You're supposed to protect what's right between you. You're not supposed to tear each other down. You're supposed to build each other up. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to choose teamwork over rivalry, to choose partnership over pride. And every time you make that choice, you're strengthening the foundation of your relationship. You're building something that lasts, something that endures, something that's bigger than either of you could create alone. You're not in competition with your spouse, you're on the same team. And when you truly live that way, you don't just survive together, you thrive together.